My fiancé once told me, if you trust me, there's no need for a prenup. But instead of taking her word for it, I trusted my instincts and walked away. Hey Reddit. I'm 32, male, and I recently ended my engagement to my 28-year-old fiancé, Dana. Since then, some of our mutual friends have been calling me paranoid, controlling, even an asshole for how I handled the situation. Others say I dodged a bullet. Right now, I'm still trying to make sense of everything, and I could use some perspective. Dana and I met about 2.5 years ago at an engagement party thrown by a mutual friend. From the moment we met, the connection was instant. I mean, full-blown whirlwind romance. She was intelligent, driven, confident, and had a sharp sense of humor. I'd dated before and had a few serious relationships, but Dana stood out from the start. She made me feel understood, appreciated, like I actually mattered. After just 6 months, we decided to move in together. I know that sounds fast, but it felt right. We rarely argued, and she brought energy and excitement into my life. She supported my career too. I own a small real estate investment company that I built from the ground up. I don't come from a wealthy background. I paid for college on my own, and I've worked hard to build a solid financial foundation, including some rental properties and retirement savings. Dana was the first woman I could genuinely picture building a family with. Last year, I proposed. She said yes through happy tears, right there on her favorite beach. It was one of those perfect moments you don't forget. For a while, everything felt like a dream. Then we began planning the wedding, and naturally, the topic of finances came up. I brought up the idea of a prenuptial agreement, not out of mistrust, but because I've worked incredibly hard for everything I have. I explained all of this carefully. I had gone through a breakup in the past where I ended up stuck with almost $9,000 in debt that wasn't even mine. I promised myself I'd never let that happen again. But Dana's response was icy. It was like someone flipped a switch. She asked if I didn't trust her. She insisted that prenups only come into play when people expect their marriage to fail. Then she accused me of seeing her as a gold digger, which couldn't have been further from the truth. I never said anything remotely like that. I told her I wasn't trying to be unfair. I was open to discussing terms that protected both of us. I wasn't looking to screw her over. I just wanted to make sure that if, God forbid, things didn't work out, especially if kids were involved, neither of us would be left dealing with legal and financial chaos. But she kept repeating the same line, if you trust me, you don't need a prenup. We had that argument twice more. Each time, she stood firmer. Finally, she looked me straight in the eye and said, if you really trust your instincts, then stop planning for failure. Just believe in us. And that's the thing, I do trust my instincts. And they were blaring like a siren that something wasn't right. That one sentence echoed in my head for days. After that, I started noticing little things I had previously overlooked. She was constantly on her phone, but always kept the screen tilted away from me. She regularly went to happy hours with people from work but never once mentioned a colleague by name. One day, she used my laptop to print something and forgot to log out of her Gmail account. I didn't go snooping, honestly. But a few days later, I opened my laptop to get some work done and realized her Gmail was still logged in. I was about to log out when a message from someone named Ryan popped up. A gut feeling told me to click. What I found turned my stomach. There were dozens of emails between her and this guy. From the tone and context, it was clear this wasn't just a professional relationship. They'd been having an affair for months. In fact, the affair started even before I proposed. The messages were flirty, sometimes downright explicit, and packed with inside jokes, many of which were at my expense. The one that broke me. A message dated just 2 weeks after I proposed. It read, "Don't worry. I'm not signing anything. I'll get my piece one way or another." I must have read that sentence 20 times. I just sat there, staring. I didn't blow up. I didn't confront her on the spot. I needed time to gather myself. So, I took screenshots of everything and backed them up. Then I started piecing things together. Turns out, she met Ryan through work. He was in a different department, married, and she had never once mentioned his name to me, not once. A few days later, I finally confronted her. I told her I'd seen the emails. She didn't cry. She didn't deny it. She didn't even try to explain. All she said was, "So what now?" I handed her the engagement ring and told her we were over. I left my own apartment that night so she'd have space to pack up her things. The next morning, I called off the wedding. After everything fell apart, Dana began telling our mutual friends that I was manipulative and controlling, that I didn't believe in love. A few of them sided with her. They started messaging me things like, "You let your pride ruin something beautiful," or "No one wants to get married under the shadow of a legal contract." One even said, "So what if she cheated? People mess up. And you're going to throw away a future together over a piece of paper." But to me, it was never just about the prenup. It was about what her reaction to it revealed. Her unwillingness to even entertain the conversation? That was a warning sign. Her infidelity confirmed it. And that one vile line in her email, "I'll get my piece one way or another," made it clear this wasn't some impulsive lapse. It was calculated. A strategy. I listened to my instincts because her words and her actions didn't line up. And sure, maybe I saved myself years of emotional and legal misery. But even now, I can't help wondering if I gave up too soon. Was I wrong for bringing up a prenup in the first place? Could I have handled it better? So Reddit, I'm asking, AITA for refusing to marry someone who said, "If you trust me, you don't need a prenup," only for me to later find out she'd been cheating all along? After I confronted Dana and gave her time to move out, I returned to our apartment the next day. She was still there. She hadn't packed a thing. Just sat on the couch with a half-drunk bottle of wine in hand, scrolling through her phone like nothing had happened. She wasn't even surprised to see me. She looked up and said I was being dramatic. That everyone cheats. That no one really stays faithful. Her fling with Ryan, she claimed, was meaningless, purely physical. Then she flipped the narrative. Said I ambushed her with the prenup, pushed her away emotionally, made her feel unwanted. And if I hadn't brought it up, she wouldn't have needed validation elsewhere. I stayed calm. No yelling. No tears. Just one sentence. "This wasn't a mistake. It was a plan. And you tried to make me think I was the problem." I asked her to leave again. She laughed in my face and said, "You're never going to find someone better than me. You'll regret this." 2 days later, she was gone, but not in person. Her sister and 2 friends came to collect her things. She didn't even have the decency to show up herself. I ended up sending an email to Ryan's wife. Included the screenshots, along with a short, factual message. I debated long and hard before doing it. It wasn't about revenge. She deserved to know what kind of man she was married to. She replied the next day. Said she'd had suspicions but no concrete proof, until now. She thanked me. That was the last I heard from her. I blocked Dana everywhere. Still, she tried reaching out, sent a few strange cryptic messages like, "You didn't have to destroy both our lives. Hope you're happy with how cold you are. Think that prenup was worth it now." I didn't answer any of them. For a while, some of her friends kept hounding me. But then the screenshots started circulating. I didn't leak them, I want to make that clear, but someone did. Once the truth came out, the judgmental messages stopped. A few of them even apologized, admitting they had no idea what was really happening. Now I sit in this apartment that finally feels like it belongs to me again. I've started seeing a therapist, which has helped more than I expected. I'm finally sleeping. I'm eating properly again. Most importantly, I'm working on rebuilding not just my trust in other people, but in myself. That gut feeling. It saved me. That awkward, difficult prenup conversation turned out to be a blessing in disguise. It ripped off a mask I probably wouldn't have noticed for years. Still, it hurts. What really cuts deep isn't just the cheating. It's realizing I was played. The proposal, the shared home, all the dreams we mapped out together, they feel poisoned now. And it's not even the physical betrayal that stings the most. It's that one line in her email. I'll get my peace one way or another. That was the real her. And I'm still grieving the version I thought I knew. So no, I don't think I'm the villain in this story, but I don't exactly feel like I won, either. I just got out. To anyone reading this who's in a relationship and feels that quiet, persistent knot in your stomach when something doesn't sit right, listen to it. Ask the hard questions. Protect what you've worked for. Love and trust aren't supposed to come with guilt trips or threats. And if someone ever tells you, if you trust me, you don't need a prenup, what they might really mean is, I hope you love me enough not to protect yourself. Thanks for reading Reddit.